last year. They had been playing tennis all afternoon. So here are the sentences in Spanish. Now we are going to talk about the negative form. We have to use have not been. So we put not between have and been, or haven't been for I, you, we, and they, or has not been, hasn't been for he, she, it. Remember that this is present perfect continuous before the base form of be and the main verb with ing. So, for example, I haven't been studying French recently. She hasn't been practicing the piano lately. They haven't been watching TV for hours. So we put the negative not between have and been, and then the action verb ended in ing. Here is the translation for the sentences. Now we are going to form the interrogative sentence. We start the sentence with have for I, you, we, they, or has for he, she, it. Add been in the subject before the main verb with ing. So, have you been? So the subject is between the have and been. Have you been studying Spanish for a long time? Thank you. Has she been working on this project since morning? Have they been playing music for hours? So this one is the perfect continuous tense. Okay? So now we are going to practice perfect continuous tense. Remember, first is the have, then the to be in past participle, that is been, and then the verb in ending in ing. So we wait for the bus for an hour. We have been waiting. Perfect. We have been waiting. So this verb is going to be waiting. We has been waiting for the bus for an hour. He not exercised recently. He he ha so remember this is he, so we must use remember this is he, so we must use has. Remember, has. For he, she, it, we use has, we don't use have. Okay, so he hasn't been exercising recently. He hasn't been exercising. Perfect. Mariposita, we have been waiting. He hasn't been exercising. Have you that book? Yes. Have you? This is a question. Have you been reading that book? Perfect. Been reading. Yes. Perfect. They play soccer all afternoon. Yes, been reading. They have been playing soccer all afternoon. Perfect, Nicole. Okay. I haven't been sleeping well lately. Yeah, playing. Yeah, playing because we are talking about continuous, right? I haven't been sleeping well lately. Yes, yes. Yo no he estado durmiendo bien últimamente. Muy bien. Have you been studying English for a long time? Have you been studying English for a long time? Yes. Ha estado estudiando inglés por un largo tiempo. Perfecto. She has been working in the garden since morning. Okay. Mm-hmm. They haven't been watching TV for hours. Desde la mañana. They have been watching TV for hours. Perfect. Yes. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, we are going to talk about past simple tense. Past simple tense. In Spanish, pretérito simple. Can you close down? The past simple tense or pretérito simple in Spanish is used to describe actions or events that happen at a specific point in the past. It is often used for actions that are completed and no longer ongoing. The rules for affirmative sentences use the past form, simple past of the verb for regular verbs. Example, walked, played. These are the regular verbs. Regular verbs is when you can put ed at the end. Those are regular verbs. We have irregular verbs. We use the past form. Example, went, ate. There is like 200, more than 200 irregular verbs that we need to memorize. Affirmative sentence examples: I visited Paris last summer. She played the piano when she was younger. They went to the beach yesterday. And here are the translation in Spanish. For negative sentences, we use did not. Did not. Remember, we used do before. Now we are using did. That is the past of do. Regular verb, yes. Visited is a regular verb. verb. Use did not or didn't before the base form of the verb for regular verbs. For irregular verbs, use did not, didn't before the past form. So we are going to see, I didn't visit the museum last week. So because we are using the auxiliary verb, hi, how are you? We are using the auxiliary verb in past, so the action verb is going to be in simple, in in present, because we are using did, that is in past. So we don't use to use, we have to use the action verb in present. I didn't visit the museum last week. She didn't eat breakfast this morning. They didn't watch TV last night. So as you can see, for the negative sentence, we don't have to use the action verb in past. We are using it in present because we are using did, that is the past of do. Here are the translation of the sentences. Now we are going to see the rules for forming interrogative sentences. We start the sentence with the. When we have auxiliary verbs, we start the sentences. For the interrogative sentences, we start with the auxiliary verb. In this case, is the. Add the subject and the base form of the verb. For example, did you visit the library yesterday? Did she go to the party last night? Did they watch the game on TV? So exactly like the negative sentences, we put did, that is in past, so the action verbs are going to be in present. We only use the past verbs when we are in past simple affirmative sentences. Okay, so now we have some exercise. She Italy last year. She visited. Perfect. That's correct, Nicole. Visited. They. She visit. Is an affirmative sentence. She did visit it. Yeah, we missed the did. Yeah, that's correct. She did visit. No, she visited because it's an affirmative question, a sentence. Because it's not saying that it's negative, it's affirmative. When it's going to be negative, we are going to find the not, the negative word here. In this sentence is affirmative. So it's she visited. They didn't play soccer yesterday. They didn't. They didn't because we are talking about past simple. Did you read? Oh, because we are talking about past simple, and when we have this one is a negative sentence. When you have a negative sentence, You must put do, the auxiliary verb do. In this case, is going to be in past because we are in past simple. Remember that you cannot put in negative sentences without using the auxiliary verb do or did in this case because it's we are in past simple. He he watched he watched a movie on Friday. Watched. Perfect. Mhm. Perfect. Nicole, Jenner, Jordi. Yes, did you read? Okay, now let's translate these sentences. I didn't go to school yesterday. Did she visit her grandparents last week? We played basketball in the park. They didn't watch the news last night. No fui a la escuela ayer. Perfecto. Did she visit her grandparents last weekend? Yo no fui. No fui a la escuela ayer. I didn't go. El fin de semana pasado. Last weekend. We played basketball in the park. Yeah, you can see no fui. El último fin de semana. Last weekend es el último fin de semana. O fin de semana anterior también puede ser, sí. We played basketball in the park. Nosotros jugamos baloncesto en el parque. They didn't watch the news last night. They didn't. Perfect. Ellos no miraron las noticias anoche. Now we are going to see the past continuous tense o pretérito continuo en español. The past continuous tense o pretérito continuo is used to describe actions or events that were in progress at a specific point in the past. It emphasizes the duration of an action in the past. We use for affirmative sentences, we use was. For I, he, she, it, or were. For you, we, they, with the base form of the verb and ing. So remember that we are using was as an auxiliary verb, and the action verb, we are going to use it ended in with ing. I was studying when the phone rang. She was watching TV at 8 p.m. last night. They were playing soccer when it started raining. Yo estaba estudiando cuando sonó el teléfono Ella estaba viendo la televisión a las 8 de la noche anoche. Ellos estaban jugando al fútbol cuando comenzó a llover. Now we are going to see the rules for forming negative sentences. We use was not or wasn't for I, he, she, it, or were not, weren't for you, we, they, for the base form of the verb and ing. So, what do you think about my English? I think it's good. I think it's good. What about speaking? Are you good at the speaking? So we are going to use negative sentence examples. I wasn't studying when you called. She wasn't reading a book at that time. They weren't playing music during the meeting. Yo no estaba estudiando cuando llamaste. Ella no estaba leyendo un libro en ese momento. Ellos no estaban tocando música durante la reunión. Entonces esa es la forma negativa. Vamos a mirar la forma interrogativa. Empezamos la oración. We start the sentence with was for I, he, she, it, or were for you, we, and they. Add the subject and the base form of the verb with ing. So we are going to see the examples. We first put the verb to be in past. The subject is in the middle of the action verb and the auxiliary verb. Were you working yesterday evening? Was she cooking when you arrived? Were they studying for the exam? ¿Estabas trabajando ayer por la tarde? ¿Estaba ella cocinando cuando llegaste? ¿Estaban ellos estudiando para el examen? So we are going to do the exercise. We play games when it started raining. She not watch TV at that time. We were playing. We were playing. Perfect. We were playing games when it started raining. She not watch TV at that time. Were you reading a book? She wasn't watching TV at that time. Perfect. Were you a book? Yes. Were you reading? He not work on Sunday. He wasn't working on Sunday. Perfect. He wasn't working. Perfect. Now we have to translate this in Spanish. They weren't studying when I called. Were you watching a movie last night? I was working all morning. She wasn't dancing at the party. Perfecto, Nicole. Ellos no estaban estudiando cuando yo llamé. ¿Estabas mirando una película anoche? I was working all morning. Yes, perfect. Yo estaba trabajando toda la mañana. She wasn't dancing at the party. She wasn't dancing at the party. Ella no estaba bailando en la fiesta. Perfecto, Jenner y Nicole. Perfect. Vamos a mirar ahora past perfect tense. Past perfect tense. The past perfect tense or pretérito plus Juan perfecto in Spanish is used to describe actions or events that happened before another action in the past. That happened before another action in the past. It emphasizes the completion of an action before a specified time in the past. The rules for forming affirmative sentence are we have to use had with the past participle of the verb. We are going to see the examples. I had finished my homework before dinner. She had visited Paris several times. They had never seen that movie. Yes. Yo había terminado mi tarea antes de la cena. Ella había visitado París varias veces. Ellos nunca habían visto esa película. Esta es la forma afirmativa. Vamos a mirar la forma negativa. Vamos a usar had not, hadn't, before the past participle of the verb. I hadn't seen him before that day. She hadn't traveled to Asia at that time. They had not finished their work by then. Yo no lo había. Is used for all pronouns? Yes. In past, had is used for all pronouns. Only to be in the past has different for different pronouns, but the other verbs in the past all are using for all the pronouns. Yo no lo había visto antes de ese día. Ella no había viajado a Asia en ese momento. Ellos no habían terminado su trabajo para entonces. Entonces vamos a mirar para la forma interrogativa. Start the sentence with had at the subject and the past participle of the verb. Vamos a mirar los ejemplos. Have you seen that movie before? Had she visited London by then? Had they finished their assignments? ¿Habías visto esa película antes? ¿Había visitado ella Londres para entonces? ¿Habían terminado ellos sus tareas? We the book before the movie. Before the movie started. We had read the book before the movie started. She Yes. Yes, it's in past. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in the past. Or when you have it's in past participle. Remember, for perfect tense, the verb is always in past participle. She hadn't traveled to Europe by that time. She hadn't. Had you heard the news? Have you heard the news? Heard. Have you heard the news? He not eat lunch before the meeting. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, with ED. We don't have it here. No. No. He he hadn't he hadn't eaten. Yes. He hadn't eaten lunch before the meeting. Mm-hmm. Perfect. They hadn't finished their homework when I arrived. Have you ever been to that restaurant before? Hadn't eaten. Mhm. She had seen the movie many times. I hadn't read the book before watching the film. Ellos no habían terminado su tarea cuando llegué. Ujú. Had you ever been to that restaurant before? Por favor, chicos y chicas, regálenme muchos corazones. I hadn't read the book. She had seen that movie. Have you ever been to that restaurant before? ¿Habías estado en ese restaurante antes? Habías estado. Yes. Mhm. Yes, have you ever been, alguna vez has estado en ese restaurante antes? Past perfect. Yes, that's correct. Past perfect. She had seen that movie many times. Ella había visto la película. Perfect. I hadn't read the book before watching the film. No había leído el libro antes de ver la película. Ujú. Perfecto. Future simple. We have four more to go. Four more to go. Okay, the future simple tense or futuro simple is used to describe actions or events that will happen in the future. It is often used for predictions, plans, and spontaneous decisions. The rules are use will or shall for formal or old-fashioned English, followed by the base form of the verb. For example, I will visit New York next summer. She will study French at university. They will go to the concert tomorrow. Yo visitaré Nueva York el próximo verano. Ella estudiará francés en la universidad. Ellos irán al concierto mañana. Las reglas para la forma negativa son you use will not or won't. You can use both of them, followed by the base form of the verb. Add no before the conjugated form of the verb. I won't eat fast food anymore. She won't buy that expensive dress. They won't watch TV tonight. Yo no comeré comida rápida nunca más. Ella no comprará ese vestido caro. Ellos no verán televisión esta noche. Para las oraciones interrogative sentences, will you join, excuse me, to forming interrogative sentence, we start the sentences with will or shall for formal or old-fashioned English. So that means shall, you don't use it much anymore. Add the subject and the base form of the verb in Spanish. What is the by? Mariposita. Will you join us for dinner? Will she come to the party? Will they travel next month? ¿Te unirás a nosotros para la cena? ¿Vendrá ella a la fiesta? ¿Viajarán ellos el próximo mes? Complete the sentences with the correct form of the verb, affirmative, negative, or interrogative. We visit the museum next week. We no is future. Future simple. We we will visit the museum next weekend. She to the party on Saturday. She won't, exactly. She won't go to the party on Saturday. No, yet. Oh, yet is to say aún o todavía no. Will you attend the conference? Yes. He won't go. Yes. Yes, perfect. He won't work on Sundays. Okay, now translate the following sentences. They won't travel to Europe this year. By is like I can look for you in explain it in another class. Will you study Spanish with me? She will buy a new car in the future. I won't watch TV tonight. ¿Vas a estudiar español conmigo? Ellos no viajarán a Europa este año. She will buy a new car in the future. Ella va a comprar un carro nuevo en el futuro. Perfecto. I won't watch TV tonight. Yes. Yo no miraré televisión esta noche. Because cuando decimos Nicole, no voy a ver, is I am not going to watch. No voy a ver. Yo no veré, exactamente. Yo no veré televisión esta noche. Perfecto. Vamos a mirar el future continuous. Future continuous tense o futuro continuo is used to describe actions or events that will be in progress at a specific time in the future. It emphasizes the ongoing nature of an action. Affirmative sentences. Use will be followed by the base form of the verb and ing. Remember, when we say continuous, we always are going to be the verb, to be verb, okay? I will be studying all day tomorrow. She will be working late tonight. They will be playing soccer at 3 p.m. Yo estaré estudiando todo el día mañana. Ella estará trabajando hasta tarde esta noche. Ellos estarán jugando al fútbol a las 3 de la tarde. Para rules for forming negative sentences, use will not be or won't be followed by the base form of the verb and ing. I won't be watching TV at that time. She won't be cooking dinner tonight. They won't be driving to the city tomorrow. Yo no estaré viendo la televisión en ese momento. Ella no estará cocinando la cena esta noche. Ellos no estarán conduciendo a la ciudad mañana. Rules for forming interrogative sentences. Start the sentences with will followed by the subject and the base form of the verb with ing. Will you be studying tomorrow afternoon? Will she be working on Sunday? Will they be playing music at the party? ¿Estarás estudiando mañana por la tarde? ¿Estará ella trabajando el domingo? ¿Estarán ellos tocando música en la fiesta? Now complete the sentences with the correct form of the verb. Affirmative, negative, or interrogative. We play basketball tomorrow evening. We will be playing, perfect. We will be playing basketball tomorrow evening. She not cook dinner, won't cook dinner on Friday, perfect, won't. She won't cook. Will you attend the meeting? Will you be in what about the verb? Attend. Will you be attending? Perfect. He won't work. He won't. He not work on weekends. Won't be working. Perfect. They won't be watching TV at that time. Will you be studying all night? She will be reading a book at the park. I won't be cooking lunch tomorrow. Oscar. Ellos no estarán viendo televisión en ese momento. Perfecto. Will you be studying all night? ¿Estarás estudiando toda la noche? She will be reading a book at the park. Ella estará leyendo el libro en el parque. I won't be cooking lunch tomorrow. Yo no estaré cocinando el almuerzo mañana. Perfecto. Vamos a ver el futuro, perdón. Estábamos en el future, perfect. Perfecto. Ahora vamos a mirar en esta tabla. No, esta no es. It's not this one. Which one it is? This one. Vamos a mirar en esta el ventilador. Let me see. Future.
It's windy.
Future continuous. Future perfect. Okay? For interrogative, we put will plus subject plus the verb plus the verb and ing. The interrogative begins with will, subject plus be. Will you be watching the game? Will you be watching the game? Affirmative, subject plus will or shall plus have plus past participle. Is used for actions completed before a specific future time. She will have finished by 10 a.m. Ella habrá terminado a las 10 de la mañana. Negative, subject plus will or shall plus not plus have plus past participle. At not, won't, between be and have. They won't have left by then. They won't have left by then. Interrogative, will, shall and will. Shall was used before in old-fashioned English long time ago. They are not using it anymore. So interrogative, we put will plus subject plus have plus past participle. Interrogative sentence begin with will or shall plus subject plus have. Will you have eaten by 7? ¿Habrá usted comido a las 7? Future perfect continuous. Affirmative, subject plus will plus have, been plus verb plus ing. Use it for actions that will have been ongoing up to a specific future time. She will have been working for 2 hours. Negative, subject plus will plus not plus have been plus verb ended in ing. They won't have been waiting for dinner. Interrogative, will, shall plus subject plus have been plus verb ending in ing. Begin with will plus subject plus have been. Will you have been studying all day? Habrás estado estudiando todo el día. Yeah, shall is not, shall no se usa más, pero sí se usaba antes en el inglés de antes, pero el inglés británico sí lo usa todavía. Ampliar or like this or what?